Today, President Obama welcomed some of the biggest names in the business to the White House for talks on how to create jobs for more Americans. Austan Goolsbee is a senior economic advisor to the president, and he joins us now from the White House. Austan, thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
All right. Well, we learned today fewer first-time jobless claims last week, but there was a spike in this reading in extended benefits, meaning out-of-work people are just not finding jobs. So what are we going to hear from the president today to change this?
Well, mainly this is a listening, information gathering kind of a forum. I think you're going to see the president likely hammer on the themes that he has been hammering recently, that the recovery, we see signs of the beginning of recovery. Jobs tend to take longer, and we've got to do everything we can to get jobs started, that the main job creation's got to come from the private sector. And so that's why he wanted to bring together all of these outside CEOs, as well as labor leaders, academics, and others. How do we stand up private industry? Because that's where the job creation is going to be most sustainable, and allows what can the government do to kind of leverage its resources to help stand that up. So I would expect you. I just came out of the beginning of the meeting where a lot of the people are milling about. I heard a lot on small business credit, a lot on infrastructure, exports, and things like that.
What would you say to critics who believe none of these measures will be a substitute for simple economic growth?
Well, I mean, obviously, economic growth is the most important thing, and that's why the president's put this focus on recovery and get growth going. You must have economic growth before you can have job growth. But we have now seen the beginnings of economic growth, and hopefully that will continue at a robust rate. But we've got to do more than just turn the GDP around. I mean, we've got to carry the thing all the way through and get the jobs coming back.
And then how restraining is the record $1.4 trillion budget deficit to the creation of new jobs?
Well, I think there's been a little bit of confusion on the part of the Republican critics here. In the middle of the deepest recession since 1929, that is not when you go try to tighten the belt. For medium-run fiscal responsibility, the president is firmly committed to that, and that will be an important factor. But in the immediate term, you do not want to be trying to tighten the belt, because you run the risk of driving us into a double-dip recession.
Some people have commented the federal government has two main policy tools at its disposal: government spending on goods and services, changes in taxes. You were talking about this a little earlier in our discussion. Can you give me some specific examples? I know you said also the meeting is just getting underway, but what are some ideas out there?
Well, some of the ideas that I had heard were some on clean energy retrofits, that you could employ a lot of people going out, doing a thing that could reduce our carbon emissions as well as reduce the utility bills in people's homes. And so there was some discussion going on about various clean energy kind of things that could be done. There was another group that I was talking with that had a whole discussion about the importance of credit to small business and fostering small business creation, that in normal periods of recovery, small business is one of the big engines of recovery. And there was some fear on the part of the private sector folks that as we come out of recession and into growth, that even the big businesses were saying, look, our suppliers who don't have access to capital markets, they're really getting pinched. And so trying to think of ideas on the small business side. Those were a couple of the big ones that I was just hearing right off the bat.